Yo, what is going on YouTube? I am Germ here. Today we're going to be talking about some big news coming out of the LEC. This is news regarding mostly Team BDS. They are obviously the newest team into the LEC, and they've been an interesting one because obviously new teams, especially teams like BDS who didn't already have the biggest fan base in the world. It's not like they're like a K-Corp or a Koi or something like that breaking into the LEC. They are a team that's needing to build from the ground up a little bit more, but they are a team with some money to spend and a team that wants to make some moves, and they have some interesting pieces. You know, they had Adam coming off a pretty strong, promising year with Fnatic. They brought in Grabs, a guy who is wanting to prove himself after not having the best year in 2021 with G2, and they have a lot of young, talented potential players, but obviously with potential players, some of them are going to work out, some of them aren't, and that led to a 4-14, I believe, maybe a 5-13 spring record for Team BDS, a 9th place finish. And while, yes, some players did look good and some players looked like they had plenty of promise and potential, 4 wins, 9th place, like this wasn't amazing, and it's not surprising to see BDS, at least considering making some changes heading into the summer of 2022. That's what we're going to be going over in this video today. So definitely drop a like if you guys do enjoy it. I would appreciate that so much. And subscribe to stay up to date on all my latest content. Help us run those numbers up a little bit. That'd be absolutely awesome. We have tons of awesome videos coming your guys' way in the near future. We're still doing daily, over 400 days straight of daily content. So, hey, I think that's earned a subscription, but who knows? With that being said, let's get right into this. And what we have is this coming from LEC Wooloo. This tweet he tweeted out earlier today. He said, sources, top laner Aggressivu and support Erdote or Erdot. I'm not exactly sure how you say that. I don't know that I've ever heard that pronounced. I mean, I've definitely heard it pronounced before. I watched some LFL. I watched some LFL clips. I watched tons of K-Corp games this year, but I can't remember how this guy's name is pronounced right now, and I tried to look up a quick pronunciation, couldn't really find anything. Either way, I don't really care. I'm going to be hearing it all the time in the LEC this next split. But this is the BDS Academy top laner and support getting promoted to the main team. Now, this isn't totally shocking because we had heard rumors from Wooloo that pretty much this offseason BDS was going to be doing like a 10-man tryout. The 5 players that were starting and the 5 players in Academy all getting a chance to compete for the starting roster positions, and that the best players were going to be starting going into summer. Now, what I will say is that this also doesn't mean that necessarily Aggressivu and Erdote are locked in for the rest of the season. I would totally not be surprised at all if we see Adam come back into the starting lineup at some point. I would not be surprised at all if we see Limit come back in at some point. But it does seem like BDS really wants to find out what they have with a lot of these Academy players, because overall, the Team BDS Academy team was really strong. They didn't have a great finish at EU Masters, obviously, but I believe they finished 3rd place in the LFL regular season and 2nd place in the LFL playoffs. And it turned out after we saw EU Masters that the LFL was by far the best ERL in all of Europe. So, BDS Academy has a very, very talented team. And again, when your main team wins 4 games and finishes in 9th place, and you have a really, really strong Academy team, there's definitely some players that are at least worth taking a look at and some players that you want to find out where they are. If nothing else, just to find out going into 2023 who you should maybe hang on to, who you should maybe get rid of, who you should maybe look to sell off, and who you want to build around for the future. Because again, BDS this past offseason, or this past split, in the spring split, they didn't do great, but still, we had some definite highlights. Syncroft ended up being really, really good. He was very, very impressive, and he seems like a player to build around for the future. And if BDS can get, maybe 1-2 more players that are really, really franchise players and key to this team to build for the future, then maybe they will have the money to go out and land a big name player or two to become a threat of a team, to be a team that's not only going to be, hopefully improving on a 9th place finish, but also potentially competing for world spots and stuff like that. But obviously, with Aggressivu and Erdote being promoted to the main team, that means somebody's getting demoted. Limit, overall, I wasn't super impressed with him really at any point in the LEC. I know he's definitely had some good moments, and some people have been like, oh, he's kind of a cool player, he has potential. I think he's been a pretty average to below average support in the LEC all along. Again, I think if you have him, he's never going to be the worst support in the LEC, but I don't think he's really ever been like a top 3 or 4 support in the LEC in my mind either. Obviously, we haven't got to see a ton of him, but it's not like I've been like, hey, you have to have Limit playing, and that's obviously why he's bounced around a little bit and ended up on BDS. So, hey, we'll have to see how Erdot comes in and does. Who knows exactly how it's going to go. Limit, I'm sure he'll go down to the LFL. I'm sure he'll do well there. I don't know when or if we're going to see him in the LEC again. Who knows for sure? Again, I think he's more of a candidate to where, like, if the LEC expands to 12 teams at some point in the near future, maybe he can end up on one of those teams. But right now, for players like him, if you're not really standing out, especially as you start to get more and more experience and continue to kind of not stand out, I think it's going to be tough for you to get and hold on to LEC spots. The other big one here, obviously, is going to be the demotion of Adam, which is pretty crazy. The downfall of Adam has been absolutely insane. Seeing him burst onto the scene summer 2021 with Fnatic, he definitely had flaws in his game. He definitely died a lot. He had a lot of isolated deaths. He overextended, all that stuff. But I believe he was first, but he was top like 3 for sure in the LEC summer split in solo kills. He also had a huge series against G2 and against Wonder in the top lane to actually send Fnatic to Worlds. There were some definite highlights. I believe he was Rookie of the Year as well, or Rookie of the Split in the summer. Adam had a ton going for him. He was good in EU Masters. He was good in the ERLs. He was good, for K-Corp, and then he ended up being really good in the LEC off the bat as well. Again, I'm not saying he was like the best top laner in the league. He was definitely rough around the edges. He definitely had some flaws, but there was things to work with. There was things to build around, and he qualified for Worlds in his very first split as an LEC player, and again was getting a ton of solo kills, was really making a name for himself. But obviously that led us to Worlds, where Fnatic had the major downfall. They had the major implosion. Obviously Adam was very angry with Upset. He was very upset with Upset, and not only was he mad at him or about the whole situation or whatever, he was very vocal about it. He took to Twitter. It sounds like took to his teammates and his management and his coaching staff and all that. And some people do think that no matter what happened, it's possible that Fnatic was going to replace Adam with Cabochard or with Wonder or potentially with Summit or whoever. But there is some people that are like, hey, if Adam would have never spoke up, if Adam would have never spoke out, if he would have never, got upset and some of the coaches and some of the management against him, Adam probably would have been brought back with Fnatic into 2022. I mean, that just makes a lot of sense. You have a young, promising player. Fnatic's a team that is not usually known for being like the biggest spending team in the world. They have some money, they throw it around, but hey, if Fnatic can get a young, cheap player with some promise and potential, and he's doing pretty good, and they continue to develop him, that's a hot commodity in the competitive League of Legends world. I do think that they would have been inclined to hold on to him. And then you see Adam go from Fnatic, one of the best teams in the LEC historically, one of the better teams in the world. They're usually going to international events. They're usually placing pretty decently, pretty much the second best performing international team in the West of all time. He's at a good team, a good brand. He's going to get a ton of popularity. He's going to make a ton of money. And he kind of throws that all away, with this whole Upset drama, and it's really crazy. And then one split later, he ends up on BDS. He goes from qualifying for Worlds to the 9th place team in the LEC, which is not surprising. Players are going to look better on good teams, and I think it's going to be easier to perform on good teams like Fnatic, and you're going to look worse on bad teams like BDS, or maybe a little bit more of a work in progress. And now all of a sudden he's back in the LFL. He's back with BDS Academy. And again, that doesn't mean his story's over. That doesn't mean his career's done or anything like that. He can definitely make his way back to the LEC, and I wouldn't be shocked if we do see him in the summer. But man, what a crazy wild ride he's been on, from K-Corp to Fnatic to BDS back to the LFL. And again, I do have to think a lot of it is because of him burning bridges. A lot of it is him being so outspoken. Grabs even came out and said that, he was hesitant about even bringing Adam into BDS because he was like, hey, the stuff this guy's doing, what he's saying, how he's acting is kind of rubbing me the wrong way. Now, obviously, Grabs did say he gave him the benefit of the doubt. He met him, he talked with him, he ended up being fine, and it seems like they got along and had a good relationship and stuff. But, hey, if you are going to be a young player who's not totally proven himself yet, maybe you don't want to go around starting a bunch of fights with established professionals and burning bridges with Fnatic and teams and stuff, because it's already going to limit your options. And obviously, Upset's a well-known player with friends and connections and all this stuff. Yes, the downfall of Adam has been very, very crazy, and I hope it's just kind of a wake-up call and a lesson for not only Adam, but young players and just players in general out there. You got to be careful about what you say. You got to pick your battles, and some somebody who's more established, like a Perks or a Caps or, somebody like that, maybe picking fights, maybe taking stuff to Twitter, maybe, going after certain players and stuff, they're going to have a little bit more leeway. They're going to have a little bit more room to talk than a guy like Adam, who came in and had one pretty good split and then decided to start running his mouth. Again, even if he's correct, even if he's in the right, which I don't necessarily think he was in that situation, obviously, now that we've come out and heard some more of the facts, but man, if Adam just would have kind of kept his thoughts to himself, kept playing League of Legends, he'd probably still be on Fnatic. He would probably still have a chance to go to Worlds this year, and he'd probably still be in the LEC, but now instead he's headed down to BDS Academy. Some of the other fallout coming from this is, I just wanted to talk a little bit about these guys. Aggressivo, he's 22 years old. Looks like he's going to be turning 23 in just a couple of months. So during the spring split, or during the summer split, he's actually going to be turning 23. He's been kind of playing competitively for a while, and people are really, really excited for him. He's been a guy being thrown around in rumors and roster rumors in the LEC for the past couple of splits. And then we have Erdate or Dot, whatever. Kind of funny. He's also born in July of 99, so he's also going to be turning 23 at about the same time as Aggressivo. So it's not like either of these players are like super, super young. Again, 22, 23, that is young. These guys are inexperienced. They have a ton of talent potential. They have the chance to really grow and gain experience and see what they can do. And I hope they do well. They both seem like interesting and exciting prospects. But again, prospects, some of them work out, some of them don't. That's why a team like BDS wants to take a chance on as many prospects as they can, because the more chances you take, the more potential you have to work out, especially if you have the right coaching staff, systems, and everything in place. But then, obviously, the most disappointed from this whole situation has been Crownshot. This is the BDS Academy 80 carry. When you hear that, hey, all 10 players are going to be considered for the summer split, and you know that X-Matty wasn't that good for BDS in the spring, and you know that Crownshot was pretty good for BDS Academy. He's a big-name player. He wants to come back to the LEC. Obviously, he was not chosen. It looks like he's going to be competing in the LFL once again. He took to Twitter. I don't know exactly what this GIF is or what this means, but it doesn't seem like he's too happy. And then, from this whole thing, we got a response from Selfmade as well, with some monkey emojis kind of, hey, saying that, join the bench, welcome to Team McDonald's, whatever you want to say. But hey, maybe Crownshot's a guy we'll see maybe during the summer split for BDS, but it just, I don't know. It seems like they're really interested in riding X-Matty out for now. We'll have to see how that goes, because again, he wasn't that great in spring, but with young players, you got to give him a chance. You got to give him some time to develop as well. And with Crownshot, you kind of know what you're getting with him already, which isn't bad. But maybe they think the potential ceiling for X-Matty is just a little bit higher. Who knows? But that's pretty much it for this video today, guys. Definitely drop a like if you did enjoy it. I would appreciate that so much. Leave a comment down below. Let me know what you think about any of this. Do you like these moves from BDS? What do you think the future has in store for Adam, Crownshot, any of these guys? I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts and opinions. Subscribe, stay up to date on all my latest content. I'll hopefully catch you guys in the next one. But until then, peace.